It happens suddenly. You're sitting quietly at home, maybe reading or watching the news, when you feel something strange. Your arm feels weak, your words won't come out right, or you notice your vision going blurry. You try to shake it off, telling yourself it's just stress or aging. But what if it's not? What if it's the start of something far more serious? Today, we're talking about a condition that strikes over 795,000 people every year, and yet, many miss the early signs. It's a medical emergency that can cause lifelong disability or even death if not treated quickly. We're talking about stroke. And the truth is, many seniors ignore or misread the warning signs until it's too late. In this video, you're going to learn the subtle, overlooked symptoms that often go unnoticed, how to act fast, and most importantly, how to protect yourself or your loved ones from the devastating effects of a stroke. So let's begin with the basics. What exactly is a stroke? A stroke occurs when the blood flow to a part of the brain is interrupted or reduced, preventing brain tissue from getting the oxygen and nutrients it needs. Brain cells begin to die within minutes. This can lead to paralysis, speech problems, memory loss, or worse, death. There are two main types of stroke: ischemic, which is caused by a blockage, and hemorrhagic, which is caused by a burst blood vessel. There's also something called a TIA, or transient ischemic attack, often called a mini-stroke, which is a temporary blockage that clears up on its own but serves as a major warning sign. The sooner a stroke is recognized and treated, the better the chances of recovery. That's why this video could literally save your life. Let's talk about the most commonly ignored warning signs that may show up days or even weeks before a stroke hits. One of the earliest red flags is sudden confusion or trouble speaking. You may be in the middle of a conversation when suddenly your words don't come out right. You know what you want to say, but the words sound slurred, jumbled, or completely out of place. This isn't just a senior moment. It's your brain struggling to communicate because part of it isn't getting enough blood. This happened to a man named George, a retired teacher. His wife noticed he was repeating himself, mixing up simple words like chair and table. At first, they laughed it off. But when he couldn't complete a sentence the next morning and had trouble dialing the phone, they rushed to the hospital. Doctors discovered he had suffered a TIA, a mini-stroke that warned of something bigger on the way. That trip to the hospital saved his life. Another warning sign many seniors overlook is vision problems. This could be blurriness, double vision, or even temporary blindness in one eye. Sometimes it comes on gradually. Other times, it strikes like a light switch. What's important to know is that vision problems can signal that a stroke is affecting the part of your brain responsible for processing visual information. Many seniors think it's just their aging eyes, or assume they need new glasses. But if it's sudden and unexplainable, get checked immediately. Next, let's look at weakness or numbness, especially on one side of the body. This is perhaps one of the most well-known signs of a stroke, but many seniors ignore it because it doesn't always feel severe. It may start as a tingling sensation in your arm, or a feeling like your leg is heavier than usual. Some people say their coffee cup felt unusually heavy, or that their foot was dragging when they walked. If you experience numbness, weakness, or paralysis in the face, arm, or leg, especially on one side, take it seriously. Even if it goes away quickly, it could be a sign of a TIA or full stroke on the way. And here's a big one: sudden dizziness or loss of balance. You might feel like the room is spinning or that you're swaying even while sitting down. Some seniors assume it's vertigo or a side effect of medication, but it can also be an early warning that something is disrupting the brain's coordination centers. If you suddenly feel off balance or have trouble walking, don't assume it will pass. especially if it's paired with nausea or vomiting. Lastly, for this section, let's talk about the thunderclap headache. This is not your usual tension or sinus headache. This is an intense, explosive pain that comes out of nowhere. Some describe it as being hit in the head with a hammer or as the worst headache of their life. If this kind of headache happens suddenly and without explanation, particularly if it's followed by neck stiffness, vomiting, or unconsciousness, seek emergency care immediately. It could signal a hemorrhagic stroke, where a blood vessel has ruptured in the brain. These 5 warning signs, confusion or speech trouble, vision changes, numbness or weakness, dizziness or imbalance, and sudden severe headache, are often overlooked or mistaken for minor issues. But they are your body's way of sounding the alarm. Time is of the essence. The faster you recognize these symptoms, the faster you can get help, and the better your chances of survival and recovery. Let's go ahead to explore lesser-known symptoms, the hidden risk factors, and what your body may be telling you in the days leading up to a stroke. Many seniors report strange physical sensations, mood changes, or fatigue that were actually early clues. Stick with me. Now that we've looked at the most urgent and obvious stroke symptoms, let's talk about some of the more subtle signs seniors often ignore, signals that may begin days or even weeks before a stroke occurs. These signs are easy to brush off. They often feel like everyday issues, but in reality, they could be warning whispers from your body. One such sign is extreme fatigue. We're not talking about ordinary tiredness from a busy day. This is a kind of crushing, unexplained fatigue that lingers for days. Some seniors report feeling like their body is running on empty, no matter how much they rest. You might sleep all night and still wake up feeling drained. Fatigue is often linked to poor blood flow in the brain, especially in the early stages of a developing stroke. When your brain is starved of oxygen, even a little, it slows everything down, and fatigue can be the result. Another early sign that often goes unnoticed is a sudden mood shift. You might become irritable, anxious, depressed, or confused without any clear reason. Your family might notice the change before you do. These mood swings can occur because different parts of the brain affect emotion, and when blood flow is interrupted, your brain may not regulate your feelings properly. This emotional shift could be temporary, or it could be a red flag for an incoming event. Pay attention to emotional changes that seem out of character or intense. Let's talk next about trouble swallowing, known medically as dysphagia. If you find yourself coughing or choking when trying to eat or drink, or it suddenly takes longer to chew and swallow food, this could indicate that the stroke is affecting the muscles responsible for swallowing. Many seniors blame this on dry throat or old age, but it can be a very real sign of a stroke in progress. Another overlooked warning is frequent hiccups or hiccups that come on suddenly and won't go away. This might sound odd, but when a stroke affects the lower part of the brainstem, hiccups can be triggered due to nerve disruption. Again, it's easy to dismiss this as something minor, but when paired with other symptoms, it can be a clue worth paying attention to. Let's not forget shortness of breath. Some strokes can cause breathing issues, especially if they involve the part of the brain that controls respiratory function. If you suddenly feel winded, especially at rest, or find it hard to catch your breath after minor activity, your brain might be struggling. This isn't about lung capacity alone, it can also be tied to neurological changes in your breathing rhythm. One more subtle symptom to watch is numbness in the tongue or face. While numbness in the arm or leg is often mentioned, facial numbness, especially around the mouth, can be an early warning sign of a stroke. Some people report feeling as though their lips are tingling or one side of their face feels different. This often happens just before or during a TIA and should be treated with urgency. We also need to discuss changes in coordination. If you suddenly drop things more often, struggle with buttons, or have trouble writing your name, these could be signs of declining fine motor control linked to early stroke activity in the brain. Don't assume you're just being clumsy. If your hands aren't working the way they usually do, your brain might be struggling to send clear messages to your muscles. Now let's turn to a less obvious but important signal: hearing disturbances. Although rare, some stroke events can cause sudden ringing in the ears, a sensation of muffled hearing, or even short-term hearing loss. If this happens in just one ear, or comes on quickly and with no known cause, it could be a neurological event. The auditory nerve or part of the brain responsible for processing sound could be affected. This isn't something to panic about, but it should not be ignored, especially if it comes with dizziness, nausea, or imbalance. Finally, we must talk about memory slips and sudden confusion. This can happen without warning. You may forget how to do something you've done for years, like making coffee or using your phone. Or you may find yourself staring at a familiar object and forgetting its name. While some memory loss is normal with age, sudden confusion or disorientation is not. This may be an early sign that your brain is not receiving enough oxygen and nutrients. Your ability to remember, reason, and think clearly can all be affected. So how can you respond to these more subtle signs? The answer is simple: don't wait. Call a doctor, go to urgent care, or visit the emergency room if multiple symptoms show up at once, even if they seem minor. If your body is sending a pattern of distress signals, it's your job to listen. In the next part of this video, we'll dive into the FAST method, a powerful way to recognize a stroke in real time, as well as explore some unexpected lifestyle risks that can increase your chances of stroke without you even realizing it. And remember, knowledge is power, but only if you act on it. When it comes to stroke, speed is everything. One of the most powerful tools seniors and caregivers can use to spot a stroke quickly is the FAST method. It's simple. It's memorable. And it saves lives. F stands for face. Ask the person to smile. Is one side of the face drooping? A stands for arms. Ask the person to raise both arms. Does one arm drift downward or feel weak? S stands for speech. Ask the person to repeat a simple sentence. Is their speech slurred or strange? T stands for time. If you see any of these signs, even just one, it's time to call emergency services right away. Don't wait. Don't wonder. Don't waste precious time thinking it might go away on its own. Every minute a stroke goes untreated, millions of brain cells die. But here's the thing, many seniors don't even get to the FAST stage because they ignore or explain away earlier symptoms. And that's dangerous. Let's now shift gears and look at some of the unexpected stroke triggers that often go under the radar. These are lifestyle factors and medical conditions that seniors may overlook or live with for years, not realizing the hidden risk they carry. First up is uncontrolled high blood pressure. High blood pressure is the #1 cause of strokes. It puts extra pressure on the blood vessels in your brain, making them more likely to burst or become blocked. But many people have high blood pressure and don't feel any symptoms. That's why it's called the silent killer. Get your blood pressure checked regularly. If your numbers are consistently above 130/80ths, talk to your doctor. Managing blood pressure may be the single most powerful thing you can do to prevent a stroke. Another hidden trigger is irregular heartbeat, especially atrial fibrillation, or AFib. AFib can cause your heart to beat out of rhythm, which increases the risk of blood clots forming. These clots can travel to your brain and block blood flow, causing a stroke. Many seniors with AFib don't feel any fluttering in their chest, but they may experience fatigue, dizziness, or a strange thumping sensation. A routine heart checkup with an EKG can reveal if you have this issue. Don't skip those appointments. Now let's talk about diabetes. If you have high blood sugar over time, your blood vessels can become damaged and inflamed, making stroke more likely. What's more, diabetes can make it harder for your body to recover if a stroke does occur. Maintaining stable blood sugar through proper diet, medication, and regular exercise is crucial. Another surprising trigger is chronic stress. We often think of stress as just a mental or emotional issue, but the effects on the body are serious. Long-term stress raises blood pressure, increases inflammation, and encourages unhealthy behaviors like overeating, drinking, or smoking, all of which contribute to stroke risk. Learning to manage stress through breathing exercises, prayer, journaling, or even talking to a friend or counselor can go a long way. Let's not ignore sleep apnea. This is a common condition where you stop breathing temporarily during sleep. Many people don't know they have it, but it causes repeated drops in oxygen levels throughout the night. These interruptions can put massive strain on your heart and brain over time, raising your stroke risk significantly. Signs include loud snoring, choking or gasping during sleep, daytime sleepiness, and morning headaches. If these sound familiar, ask your doctor about a sleep study. Another hidden factor is sedentary living. If you sit for hours every day without much movement, your circulation slows down. Blood clots can form more easily. Your metabolism suffers. And you become more vulnerable to obesity, diabetes, and hypertension, all stroke risk factors. Even light walking for 20 minutes a day can make a big difference. Simple movements, stretches, and light household chores also help. Then there's diet, specifically, a diet high in processed foods and salt. Too much sodium raises your blood pressure. Too much sugar contributes to diabetes. And trans fats and cholesterol can clog your arteries. A stroke-friendly diet is rich in colorful fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins like fish or beans, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats like olive oil. Water is essential too. Dehydration thickens the blood, which increases the chance of clots. Drink regularly, even if you don't feel thirsty. Lastly, smoking and alcohol use must be addressed. Smoking damages blood vessels and makes blood more likely to clot. Heavy drinking, especially binge drinking, can spike your blood pressure and cause heart rhythm problems. If quitting feels too hard, seek support. Talk to your doctor, join a group, or ask for help from a loved one. You are not alone. Avoiding these silent stroke triggers is not about fear, it's about freedom, freedom to keep enjoying your family, your hobbies, your faith, your life. Let's bring everything we've learned together with some real-life perspective. Meet Clara. She's 74, a retired schoolteacher with a sharp memory and a love for gardening. One morning, Clara felt an unusual tightness in her chest and thought it was just indigestion. She noticed her left hand felt numb, and her words came out slower than usual. But she brushed it off and decided to rest. Hours later, Clara collapsed. She was having a major stroke. Thankfully, her daughter arrived in time and called emergency services. Clara survived, but she had to relearn how to walk and talk. Her story is not unique. Every year, countless seniors experience warning signs and do nothing, until it's too late. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can protect yourself and the people you love with just a few powerful habits. First, know your numbers. Check your blood pressure regularly. If it stays above 130/80, take it seriously. If you have diabetes, monitor your blood sugar. If you have AFib or any irregular heartbeat, get it treated. Don't guess. Don't delay. Second, make your diet your medicine. Eat more foods that reduce inflammation and support circulation. Leafy greens like spinach and kale, berries, fatty fish like salmon, flax seeds, turmeric, ginger, garlic, walnuts, and oats. These are stroke-fighting superstars. Minimize salty snacks, processed meats, fried foods, and sugary drinks. Your brain will thank you. Third, move your body daily. You don't need a gym. Just move. Walk around the house, stretch your arms and legs, dance to your favorite music, or do some gentle yoga. Movement boosts circulation and lowers the risk of clots forming. Fourth, protect your sleep. Aim for at least 6 to 8 hours of restful sleep each night. If you snore heavily or wake up gasping for air, get tested for sleep apnea. Fifth, manage your stress. Stroke risk increases with chronic stress. Take deep breaths. Pause to pray. Write down your thoughts. Laugh with loved ones. Find beauty in small things. Peace in your mind means health in your body. Sixth, don't delay when symptoms appear. Even if it's a faint sign, a numb hand, a strange headache, dizziness, blurred vision, or a moment of confusion, act immediately. Call emergency services. The sooner you get help, the more likely you are to survive and recover fully. Seventh, involve your family. Talk to your children and caregivers. Teach them the warning signs and the FAST method. The more eyes watching, the better. A stroke doesn't just affect the person, it touches the whole family. But awareness builds protection. Eighth, get regular checkups. Have your heart, blood vessels, and brain monitored yearly. Routine tests can catch problems before they become disasters. Sometimes, a small adjustment to medication or diet can make all the difference. And ninth, believe in your ability to change. It's never too late to take charge of your health. You may be 60, 70, 80, or beyond, but your body still listens. Your brain still adapts. Your habits still matter. Stroke is not a guaranteed part of aging. It's a risk, but not a fate. Let's end this with a message of hope. Thousands of seniors reverse their risk every year with small, simple steps. You can be one of them. Take control. Learn the signs. Make the changes. And spread this knowledge to someone who needs it. Because saving a life might just start with you.